Okay, so in a lot of videos, I give you research hacks, I give you Amazon product research sessions, and everything in between. One thing I've never done, and I want to do a bit more often, is literally give you some products that you can then use as part of your research. So something we talk about on the channel quite a bit, and obviously in our programs we go into in a lot more detail, is what we call a segue strategy. What that means is we look at a product, and we look at items that are related to that product, and we find lots of product ideas based upon that. It's kind of like the movie Inception, but a lot less confusing, and it makes you a lot more money as well. And so I want to give you some items you can grab right now and start segueing off of to find more products. So let's jump over to Amazon to show you how it works. So we're on Amazon now, and I've got my products loaded up and ready to go. I'm not going to get into how we found these because that's for another video. This is more give you a shortcut. This is the first one that I'm going to use today, and it's an air gun pellet resetting target. Now, obviously, you can research the resetting target yourself as a product on its own, but the real strategy is when we scroll down here and we start looking at two things. We have customers who bought this item also bought. We've got those, and we've got sponsored products related to this item. Now, we typically use these ones, but if this is available as well, it's great because you've now got a dual strategy here where you can look at different products. Obviously, you've got to be careful because some of these items are going to feature what we call item specifics to avoid, which means like you can't sell them on Amazon. You can't, but maybe Amazon can. In our program, we go into this in a lot more detail. It's beyond the scope of this video, but basically we're talking about, is it hazardous? Does it violate Amazon's terms of service? Obviously, you don't want to do that. So that's just a backwards conversation. So what we have here is we have a pellet trap. So that's one we can segue off of. I'm going to put it up here. Steel funnel-shaped shooting target. Okay, let's keep going. There's 13 of these. I'm not going to go through all these pages. I'll leave it up to you to keep going. Obviously, when we find these, we're going to go even further. This is interesting. 200 bucks. It's a hang tough, self-sealing, reactive, and auto-resetting shooting targets. It looks like the big kind of like platform for that. I'm going to do it really quickly because again, the idea is I want to give you these products. You can then research these further as a starting point. And I'm not saying to sell these at all. I'm really not. I'm just saying I'm giving you starting points today. Here's the first one. This is a pellet trap with 10 paper targets for airsoft air rifles. I don't know this market very well, but it looks like we can go pellet trap, and we're going to go pellet trap airsoft. I'm going to do that. See what's going on here. 227, great, well less than 1,000. So this looks like the product. It's hard to tell. This is the one thing I don't like about this. It doesn't look like you get this with it, and that's a trouble. This is not very clear. But as I scroll down, this is quite an interesting little market. There's not that many in this market, so that will be something you could look into a bit further. Looking at the BSRs and something like this, they're quite far down the BSR now, which is not ideal. We would like this to be a lot lower, but it's somewhat interesting. Yeah, it's a little bit out of range for my liking. That one's doing pretty well, 25,000, but it looks like the market's not great. Now here's another example of something that you may want to research further. It is a little bit lower in price, but it's doing very, very well. So that's an auto reset airsoft target. So auto reset, that makes sense. So it'll literally auto reset as you shoot them. I can see how that would be popular, but also I can see how this may be very competitive as well. So we're starting to see some of the other items that we looked in our segue search as well, because they're related. What's interesting here is whenever you get to the point where you're not seeing the same items, there's not that many offers in the space. So while it says 227 here, it doesn't actually mean there's 227 of this product on Amazon. It just means 227 different listings came back featuring this pellet trap airsoft, these keywords, right, which is important as well. So that one looks somewhat interesting. We take it a little bit further then. So it's a steel funnel-shaped shooting target holder. So steel, I'm going to take out some of these keywords as I search it over on Amazon now. And we always like products like this because they're not going to be faulty or anything really, as long as they're finished well. Yeah, I mean, I literally think you'd have to have all these keywords in there. Maybe you disagree. 87 results, look, and that's great. Look, there's hardly anything in the space. Now, what's the BSR look like? It's not good. Although this one's pretty good, so that one would be one to take a little bit more of a research into a little bit further. These are not doing all that well, as you can see. But the listing is not great. It's quite poor. And actually, if we look at the listing, again, this is not bad, but this title is not great. It could be a lot better. The offer is not great. It really is just this product. Now, in fairness to them, the images are good. So There's not too much I'd improve there, really. I might just make a little bit of a better offer, add in some free stuff, included with them, some targets or something like that. Description's not great, but it's not the worst at the end of the day. It would just say to me that this market's not all that big. But if I scroll down here anyway, what I was going to say was you have more sponsored products related to this item. So you can see how, even though I'm giving you guys the same items as a bit of a shortcut today, just to get started and get yourself into product research, all of you will go down different rabbit holes. So for example, some of you may go down this rabbit hole right here, which is this product. It's like a Copper Ridge outdoor target steel gong type stand. So you're shooting the steel gong is obviously the idea there. So that's interesting. And it's at a particular price point. It's a bigger type of an item. It's bulkier. This one's actually not shipped by Amazon, as you can see here. Again, the BSR, we'll have a quick look. It's 77,000. It's not that great. It's doing all right. A little bit out of range. That said, though, it's a higher price. So even though it's a bit out of range, it's a higher price. It could be somewhat interesting. Point is, though, some of you then, you're going to come down here and you're going to be looking at these and you're going to start going down further and further and further rabbit holes. So what you're actually seeing in this video today is like a product will bring you down a certain rabbit hole. The sponsored products related to it will. And then those items will bring you down a further rabbit hole and those ones a further rabbit hole. That's why I say it's like Inception. Patrick, who we had on recently, talked about this idea of it's like a nested box type thing, right? Where you keep on getting smaller boxes nested within the bigger box. That's very much what Amazon is, and you're seeing it here more and more often. So that would be the second one you can certainly start on and go down through it and see what you find. This is another interesting product that we saw. What's the BSR look like? It's well out of range now, so that's not great. But that said, what would it be? It'd be an auto resetting shooting target. Let's just do something like that. Let's just see what we got here. 164. Okay. And what we're looking for, that one there is doing well. Look, it's 27,000. So you can research that. Price point's not great, as you can see. Not ideal. Let's keep scrolling. This one's doing this style now, as you can see, is the one that's doing well, right? And that one's killing it. Price point's a bit better there. So again, you might go down that way, research that further. Some of you may go down here, research this further. So that's the big thing you got to take away from today's video, that I'm giving you a starting point, but you can bring this anywhere you want to go. And also what will happen in time, the further and further and further you go down the rabbit hole, the more you'll start to get out of this niche. You'll move out of this kind of airsoft niche into other niches as well then, which I think is always very interesting. But we won't go that far today, so we won't find that much. That's 17 left in stock. It doesn't look like it's sold. It is shipped by Amazon. It is $12.99. Not doing very well, but that's not really the point of today. We want to take that then and be like, okay, well, what's the market of this type of product look like? You can analyze that. We've done that many times in the channel. Then you go, what's doing well there? You start seeing what's working in the market. Then you start to see what's related to the thing that's working in the market. And you keep on finding more product ideas. I hope you're seeing that. Also, what I'd like you to do right now as well, jump down to the comments. Give me like a hashtag useful to let me know this is useful to you, because I'd love to see a ton of you guys say this is useful stuff. At the end of the day, we make these videos to help you, to get you finding more products a lot more quickly. So jump down below and like the video on the way as well. I would really appreciate that. So down below, like the video, hashtag useful, and let's keep going. We had this type of product then. Now, this one, I see Amazon are actually shipping it out. It is there's an adhesive in it, so I'd be a little bit cautious, but Amazon are actually shipping it, and Gear Oz are selling it, so that tells me it's somewhat safe, but I will do a bit of research on that just to be sure. This looks like it's called a splatter target stickers. And you check the market, 216, that's great. Come down, this is the one that we saw that was working. And as we can see, there's a few in the market, but not all that many. This looks like a very interesting type market. I'm not saying it's a perfect market at all. I'm just saying this is what we're thinking about. So there's not that many people in this space really. Then there's people doing cosmetically different ones. That one's not doing as well. This one here, it's doing just as well. It's cosmetically different. So they're using that methodology. Just looking at it, it doesn't look too bad, but really that's not the point of this video. Yet again, we can look at any of these now. So we can go, that's the Gear Oz when we looked at splatter burst targets, and we can see what these guys have got going on. So we can scroll down, and again, we can be looking for sponsor products related. And now we're starting to see different types of things. See all these, look. These are different types of products in the space. I want to be a little bit cautious of these price points. Some of them look a little low. We want to be well above $10 when we're selling stuff on Amazon for sure. So again, something like this, $27.99 is quite interesting. Another thing you can do as well, you can actually visit their store and you can see what else they've got going on here, see what products they have, and you can start researching each of these products individually then and see what's going on. This company here, they got A+ content, so clearly they are taking care of their brand on Amazon. They're brand registered. They're making sure that they have, they have their brand registry. Their listings are going to be better as a result. You can do that as well. But I would go through these and see what's going on. They have a very distinctive look as well, so they're clearly building a brand in this space, which may not be what you and I do, but it's just interesting. So I would go through all these, see what's going on, and then see what's related to those items and get more ideas. That was one product. Right, which is kind of crazy, but that was literally one product where we segued off of. So we're going to give you a few more in this video, but as you can see, we'd be here for literally a couple hours. If we did more, if we did like 5 or 6, we'd be here all day. This is a raised planter box. So as always, you could go and look at this market, but really here I'm coming down and I'm looking for other interesting items. And again, I'm just putting these into new tabs and seeing what's going on in those different markets. So let's keep going. That's kind of similar to what we just looked at, so we won't do that. This is a wooden one, but I'm seeing a lot of those, so I don't like that. This one looks different, so let's put this into another tab. I'm gonna look through these really quickly and just see what's going on. This is an outdoor metal raised garden bed. You have to look at this as well and think about it. Like, what are people thinking about whenever they're searching for something? So outdoor, like maybe outdoor, get rid of that. Maybe people don't type that in. Metal garden bed, but then they know it's a raised garden bed, so it's literally going to be either metal garden bed, and you can see people are searching because we see Amazon are giving us the suggestions there. So I'm going to leave it at raised for now. 343. Let's take that out and just see what happens if we do it the other way. So 590, not too much more. But as you come down, you can see some of these now are a little different to what we looked at. We're at the sizes now as well. That's really interesting. $89.99 and it's 12,000. That's and look at how bad the image is. I mean, it's a terrible image, so bad. The listing is not good at all, but it's doing really well. So that I would do more research on stuff like that because the price point is awesome. And you have to be thinking about the price point as well. That's important. And also we mentioned this in another video. I'll mention it again right now. This is a 7-foot one. So what you may find in some of these markets, Robert talked about this niche within a niche concept, that the 7-foot, people are searching for that metal raised flower bed, right? If literally people were looking at that, so it'll be like 7 foot metal garden bed. I'm going to search that because that's pretty much what I think people would search. 401 results, and as you come down, that's the one we just saw, and you're coming down, what are you seeing? Hardly anything for that type of product. Now, I'm not saying go buy that, guaranteed people are looking at that. I'm just saying, like, be aware of these things. And keywords are very important because that's what people are searching for. And when you can find and you can see that emulating the customer experience, people are looking for a 7-foot raised garden bed and it's metal. When you see that and you get into that market, it's unbelievable what you can do because it's a longer tail keyword, it's a longer tail search, but you have exactly what those people are looking for, and you can easily improve upon this. Like, I mean, the images, they're all right, but they're really not great. I mean, they really aren't. And they have 2 versions, they have the 5 and 7 foot. You can definitely make a better initial image than that, as I'm sure you'd agree. This is another product we found. Now, this is a raised garden bed, but it's got 4 containers. So I would search, and again, it's interesting to see, are people searching for this or not? So it's like 4 tier, it could be. They call them containers. Let's just search that. 615 results. This is a tricky one, but you'd have to do a bit of work on this. But there it is there. That's the one we were looking at. Now, it's out of range, but it is a good price point. And you're really looking, like, that's in range, and that's a great price point. We've looked at this item before on another video. It's an interesting one. Yet again, like, you can click into this one, and as we talked about before, you can come down and you can keep on looking. What else is there that I didn't see before? Is there anything? And there's 54 pages, so you're bound to see different things as you go. And you're looking at different styles. You're looking at different amount of tiers. You're looking, there's a different style to that one. You're looking to see, is there a niche, like this one here is different again. Is there a niche within a niche? And then you're trying to backtrack and see, are people searching specifically for this type of curve design? And if they are, you're onto such a winner like we just saw, because even when we searched 7 foot metal raised garden bed or metal garden bed, it wasn't very much, right? So that's really encouraging, and that's what we're looking for with Amazon. This is an extra thick galvanized steel raised garden bed planter kit box with greenhouse zipper. So this is a whole world of thing. This is actually shipped by Overwhelming. Terrible name for a seller, and that's crazy. So let's just come down here and see what's going on. It's doing very well, 38,000. You know, it's making sales, but the really cool thing about this is the price point. So again, I would be looking at this sort of thing and trying to see, is it the kit angle that people are looking for? Is it the fact that it's got this entire, like, this extra garden, a greenhouse thing on top of it? What is it that's interesting about this, you know? And as always, we want to come down here and see what's going on in this area. Like, that's a different looking one again. That's different again. That looks different. That's interesting. No reviews. It's probably quite a new one. It's probably well out of range. But again, do we get an idea off of this? So that's the second one. I'm going to give you one more today, and that's going to do us for today because we went, as you can see, how far we can go with this. The third one I'm going to give you is this thing right here. It's a HME hard surface practice hanger. So again, it's like a bow and arrow type hanger thing. I'm giving you this one just for another idea. I'm not really interested in this product. Again, we're coming down and we're seeing sponsored products related to this item. And also we've got now more items to explore. You can use any of these areas. You really can. Like, there's no issue at all. I would be looking at all these and seeing what is down here as well as what's in here. I do like sponsored products related to the item because I know people are paying money to show this in front of more customers. So that tells me it may be worth researching a little further, a little bit more qualified than something like this. But like we said, look, there's an item that's actually totally not in the same niche at all. And it's just showing up because we're in this sports and outdoors category and it's in some way related. This is actually a bungee rebounder. Now the price point is incredible. What's the BSR like? Really good. Wow, man, that's making a lot of money because it's $366 and it's actually 26,000. But even if that's only selling like 2 or 3 a day, which is probably more than that, but even if it was doing that, it's nearly $1,000 a day product. Like, so that's really, really good. Not saying it's a perfect one for you, just saying it's interesting. Bungee rebounder, 119 results, interesting. A space like this is always going to be hard to compete in, I will say. I wouldn't go into this space. I'm just saying, like, it's worth researching just to see, is there something there? But you're always going to get these more branded versions. People are going to jump into these because they're very obvious, you know? So I wouldn't be in this market, but I think it's worth researching anyway, just to see, is there an accessory or something like that works in that category? But that one's doing great. And a lot of people would chase that because of the price point, even if it's making a small number of sales. That's another thing I would say. Look at this thing. This is awful looking. What the hell is this? Rustic outdoor products, universal camo. So tree stand seats. So this is the kind of stuff where it's interesting. Now I don't know what it's doing. Let's see if we can even find that. Yeah, 56,000 is doing okay. Look how bad the listing is. That's how hungry this market are for this type of product. The listing's not even that great. It's okay, but the title is awful and stuff, but the images are okay. There we go. It's a universal camo tree stand seat. It's 97 results. Very interesting. And these don't look that great, right? Look, and these aren't even the same product. So again, interesting. Really, really poor quality. So that's what we're after. And we found that through looking at this type of an item, down to the sponsored products, and we started finding more and more interesting ones. And look, there's 21 pages to go. And the one we just looked at, which wasn't great, which I think was this one. Again, we come down below and there's more yet again to look at. So can you see how far you can go with product research on Amazon? You can go so much deeper. And I would never in a million years think to sell this product, but the market's telling me to do it. And that's what it's all about. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go down to the description. You'll see the 3 ASINs that we used today. You can start there, get going into them, and then you'll start finding your other ones and start logging them then. Where you're finding a lot of segue opportunities, log those and then keep coming back to them and then going down and down the research rabbit hole. That's really, really cool. So with that said, hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, it really helps. And as always, if you're not part of the Marketplace Superheroes movement, down to the description or in the pinned comment and grab our free training and come on in. We look forward to working with you and teaching you this stuff at a much higher level and helping you build a business that's a real business selling your own products on Amazon.